Hey friends, in today's video I'll be showing you how you can make this cool spider using aluminum wire. This is a pretty simple but yet really nice design. So let's go over the materials and the tools. Just as a side note, I'm going to be leaving links under this video description, and that will make it easier for any of you guys that are not sure where to get the materials and tools. You can check out the links, and you can purchase your wire materials and tools from there. So what I have here, this is a 12 gauge aluminum wire. I use this because in my opinion it's a little more thicker and stronger, but a 15 gauge works as well. So you can either get the 12 gauge or a 15 gauge. That's my two recommendations. And on this wire I have black wire, and this is 18 gauge, but you can also use a 20, so 20 or 18 works perfect. And I'm going to be combining these two colors, and this is exactly the same. It's an 18 gauge aluminum wire, so 15 gauge or 12 gauge, 20 or 18 gauge. These are the two sizes we're going to use today. And as for the tools, here I have my needle nose pliers, some tape measure, or you can use a ruler too, just regular wire cutters. And this little tool here is always optional. I really like it because it helps me twist the wires, but it is not necessary. But I really enjoy using this tool, and it's very useful for me. Like I said, I'm going to be leaving links for all of these materials and tools under the description. And I would like to remind everybody who is liking this content and finding any value in this type of video tutorials for wire art that your support is greatly appreciated, and you can support the channel by clicking on the like button, on the share button, subscribing, and clicking the little bell button to get notifications every time I upload new content. Oh, and I also just uploaded a new button on my channel, which is called the thanks button, and this button is right next to the other ones where you can like and share. And what it does is just you can support the channel by any contributions, and that can help us create more content and help more people to learn this beautiful art. So yeah, without any more delays, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start by taking our 12 gauge wire, and I'm going to measure about 8 inches. That's about it. There you go. So next we're going to just fold it in half, kind of like a loop, and I'm gently going to put pressure on the sides just to make a little bit of more sharp angle at the end. And I'm going to bring both ends across like this. This is going to shape up the abdomen of our spider, so it kind of looks like an eye shape. This is about maybe a couple inches wide. Yeah, it's a couple inches, so something like that is good enough. Then we're gonna take our pliers, and I'm going to straighten this piece of wire up just like that. And I will do the same thing with the other side, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it helps a lot if they are almost symmetrical. Okay, and so to save some time, I went ahead and cut up 8 pieces of wire of the 18 gauge size, and each piece is 2 feet long. So I got 4 of the black color and 4 of the red color. And so we have our 12 gauge wire here shaped into an eyeball, and our 18 gauge wires here. These are 8, and I got 4 of each color. And so to start the process of building our spider body, we're going to take one of these wires, whichever, it doesn't really matter, and right here where the half of the wire is, I'm going to bring it, make it go through those two wires. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but almost in the half of it. We're gonna take our wire and wrap it around it once and go across, make it go through here again and wrap it around it once again. And basically this is the same process we're going to do with all the wires, but we're going to be switching colors. We're going to do a black one and then a red one. You see where my half of the wire is right here? I'm going to place it here, and right over here I'm going to pinch just to make sure we have it almost centered. And I'm going to do the same thing, just wrap it around it once and once on the other side, just like that. So I'm going to do one more, a black one. I'm going to place it right here, and I don't want to pick right in the middle and start here, because then you're going to be off. You're going to have more on one side than the other. So when I put it here, I calculate like that. That just helps us have almost the exact same amount on each side, so we're not short at the end. So this is what it should look like, and I'm going to do all of them, and I'll come back on the video to save some time. Okay, now I have all my 8 wires wrapped in there, and see how the ends are almost exactly the same. That's what we want to get. We don't want short ones over here and long ones. So this is what it looks like, and this side here is going to be actually the bottom of our spider. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it like this, and I'm going to start weaving the wires again. I'm going to take the one on the very back end, which is this black one, bring it up and across, and I'm going to go under in between these 2 wires, and I'm gonna wrap it once, and I'm gonna wrap it twice, like that. I will do the same thing with this one. I'm gonna take this one on this side, bring it across, and don't pull too much. Don't pull too hard, don't put too much tension, just enough to bring it across. I'm gonna go over this wire twice. The reason why I tell you not to put too much pressure is because if you pull too much, it's gonna look very flat, and it's not gonna make a spider look 3-dimensional. So you don't want to pull too much and pull too hard on the wires. Now I'm going to be doing a red one here, just enough tension to make it come across, and I'm doing the same thing with this one. And as you can see, it's building kind of a bow. You see it's going like over. That's what we want. I'm gonna do one more. There you go. Now it helps a lot if you separate these tips, making like a V shape, so it's easier for you to make the wires go through it. That's just a little tip that I can give you. Wrap it once, wrap it twice. All right, and I will be doing all the rest of them and come back when it's done to save more time, make this video less boring. All right, as you can see, I did all the wires, but I still have some room here, and the trick is that make sure that they're all together or as close as possible. So you don't want them separated like that or anything. Just make sure they're tight and snug in there. But since I have more room here, so I'm gonna continue taking the very back wire and just keep going until I don't have any more room to go. like that. I might have to do a couple more wires. Just keep going. One more. Okay, so that's more or less okay. It doesn't have to be super exact. We just want the wires to look separated from each one of them here, almost as the same. You know, you don't want some too close, some too far away from each other. All right, so now what we're going to do now, it's start building the back of our spider here. This is the abdomen, and I want you to see how it looks. It looks like just looks a little three-dimensional. It doesn't look flat, so that's what we want to accomplish. You can also push with your fingertips up to make it look much more three-dimensional, just like that. See? Okay, so now I'm going to take this wire, and instead of going over these two, I'm going to go under these two wires and over, and just push the wire to that side. So I'm going to take the very back wire again, go under and over and pull it. I'm going to do this with another one, the same thing there. Okay, so I did that with two of the wires. Now I'm going to separate 4 wires of the very back from these wires here. So 2, 4. I'm separating 4 wires from each side, and I'm just going to keep them behind because this is going to make the legs of our spider. And here I will take this wire, the very back wire, and make another wrap, but this time I'm going to go over, not under. See, over, under, and finish on this side. And I'm going to do the same with this one on the other side, over and under. There you go. Another one, over and under, and over and under, like that. Now at this point you can just leave it like that, but I kind of like this part a little bigger, so I'm just gonna do one more, going over and under, and one more. That's it. So here we have 4 wires on the back, 4 wires on the front, and these 2 wires here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pliers and I'm gonna make a bend on them, like pointing outwards, just like that. And then I'm gonna put my pliers directly at the bottom of them, like that, and I'm gonna push with my 2 fingers down, making them look like fangs. You see? Now they're a little too big, so I'm going to cut some of it off. Okay, so I'm gonna take my wire cutters, and just by eyeballing it, I don't really need to measure. I'm just going to cut them up like that. So now they look sharp. Be careful with this though. And now I will continue by shaping the legs and making the legs on my spider. So what I'm gonna do now is take these 2 wires up front by the fangs, and I'm going to measure about 4.5 inches, right about here, and I'm going to just cut off that excess. Now I will put these wires next to this other 2, and what I'm doing is just making sure they are all about the same size. I'm going to measure these 2 wires here too, about 4.5 inches, the same as the front wires. There you go. Okay, now I have one side, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing with this side. So I got both sides. As you can see, they look all even, so that's what we want to get. Now I can either do this with my hands if you want to. I'm gonna just keep doing this to twist the legs, but since I have this little tool with me, I'm just going, this is just helps me to be a little faster and make it a little better. This just makes it easier. So all I do is start twisting the wire, and like I said, there's gonna be a link under my video description so you guys can purchase this little tool if you want to. It's not necessary, as I always say, but I make these insects like quite often, like a lot, so for me it's a great help. It doesn't hurt my hands as much and it makes it look a lot better. But if you're doing this as a hobby or just, you know, for fun, maybe you don't really need to make the expense, but that's your decision. So I'm just gonna do this process on all legs and I'll come back again just to shorten the video, like you see in the process. Okie dokie, we have all the legs twisted. So now what I'm going to do is just shape them up, and the only thing I do is push all the legs up. See, something like that. We're gonna do the same thing with this side, just like that. And I'm going to take my pliers and maybe about at 3/4 of an inch or maximum an inch from the body of the spider, which is here, to this part over here. I'm going to make this fold or bend on the leg on a 90-degree angle, just like that. So instead of measuring each leg, I'm just going to set my pliers flat on this leg and just bend the one next over like that. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. This is a good way to save some time when you're doing this. You can measure them if you want to, but I think that just doing that little thing there helps get them all almost the same size. I like to be symmetrical, so I like everything to be about the same size. I'm gonna do the same thing with this side, from here to here about an inch or 3/4. I'm gonna make a bend just like that. Put my pliers set on top of that leg. Do the next one, and we got all the legs fold. So right now it looks awesome already, but we're gonna do another thing. We're gonna bend the legs again. So I'm going to do a measure just so you guys know about how much I use. I will do maybe about an inch or an inch and a half from this elbow here to where I'm going to make my other bend. So maybe an inch and a half would be around there. And I'm going to bend this leg down in an angle like that. And I will do the same thing with all the rest of the legs. Now you can measure if you want to, but I won't do it just to save some time. And I'm just going to eyeball the other one because I already know exactly, or not exactly, but you know, more or less where am I supposed to make the bend. And it doesn't have to be a 90-degree angle down, but something like that. Now what you can do is just put it on a flat surface and just push it down like that. And these legs, I like them to go back, the very back legs to go almost back all the way, and then one next to it like that. And I like these front legs to go like really almost in front of the spider like that, and the other ones follow through just like that. I think it looks a little flat on this part over here, so I'm going to bend it upwards. See what I did there? And I'm gonna bend it down again, just like that. And I'm gonna adjust the fangs, adjust them a little bit. You don't have to do this, but I do like the spiders to look a little more realistic, so I like to do that. And I think that's it, guys. We got our spider done. Look at it. It looks pretty cool. I got a couple more that I made in the past. I got one there, and I got another one here with different colors. You can do different colors in one color, but yeah, this is it. This is our awesome spider, and it was pretty simple. All right, well, at this point I just would like to remind everybody again that I want to support the channel. Please like this video, share it, subscribe, click the bell, and check out our thanks button if you want to support this channel. That's a great way to do it. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as I can, and I'll come back with more tutorials. Okay, well, thank you very much. Bye bye.